Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of the Knit State of Mind podcast. I'm Wanda,
And I'm Heather.
and I'm coming to you from the unceded ancestral homelands of the Lishan Ohlone people. Today is Saturday. It's December now, right? December
Number
4th?
fourth, I think.
Okay, 2022. It's not Saturday, it's Sunday.
Oh, it's Sunday.
Get with the time. Yeah.
And I'm coming to you from the home of the Multnomah, Clackamas Cowlitz, and many other people, also known as Portland, Oregon.
What else? So we have a few things to share with you today, a couple of finished objects. I think we're going to chat about some crochet as well. I was hitting Heather up on text message, so I'm looking forward to that conversation. And so I think last time I forgot to share our socials, but it's always in the description box below. So we're Knit State of Mind on Instagram, and I pretty much use that. And then I'm Waddy Wat on Ravelry if you use Ravelry.
Yeah, and I'm Heather T on Ravelry and Heather T3 on Instagram. And as Wanda said, we do work pretty hard to put pretty much everything in the description box. So if you ever have a question or if we're talking about something and we're like, I don't remember, we always look it up later and put it below. So
Yeah,
yeah,
sounds good. All right, should we dive in?
yeah, let's do it.
All right,
What are you
so
wearing? If people, I'm sure, saw this on Instagram, if they follow you on Instagram.
yeah, that was like the first post in months, but we're kind of backed up in terms of sharing our knits on IG. But this is, I felt inclined the other day to share this. It's the Sheep's Camp sweater by Jennifer Berg, also known as Native Knitter. I shared it on our last episode and somehow finished it between episodes. I actually think this is my quickest garment knit ever. I finished this in about 3 weeks right before my birthday. So I think I shared last time, but I'll stand up since I'm wearing it so you could see the finished
Nice. You
project.
did say it was flying, so I'm not surprised you got it done.
Yeah, I was actually really surprised. It was a lot of fun. I think having the color work yoke and then stockinette, but not a ton, um, really made it fly. And then I also just kind of wanted it. It's the perfect weight. It's the perfect everything. Like it's an easy go-to sweater. I think the colors that I chose, like I can wear it with basically everything in my wardrobe. But what other details should I share? So at one point, and I think I texted you, I was actually considering ripping it out and not finishing it because I actually wasn't sure.
You did, and I
Um,
was like, no.
and then something told me to let it sit. I actually did let it sit for a couple of days, and then I said, I'll come back to it. I think it's going to come together. It was right after I split for the sleeves, maybe, or had started one sleeve. Um, I wasn't sure if the fit was going to be right because, as you all might remember, I used the Jamieson and Smith 2-ply, which is a fingering weight yarn, and the pattern actually calls for DK weight yarn. Um, but somehow when I don't follow these rules, it still somehow works out. And I couldn't ask for a better fit, to be honest. I
Yeah,
wasn't
it was.
sure if the yoke, oh, that's what I spoke about last time, if the yoke was
Mhm.
too deep. But there's space, but it's just enough and it doesn't look funky. So,
Well, and that's how it's meant to be, right? It's designed to have that deeper yoke that's kind of like a combination between a round yoke and like a more dolman shape.
mhm,
Mhm.
mhm. Yeah, it works. And I wasn't sure if I was going to feel like there was too much space in the back, but I think it's great.
No, it looks great. Yeah.
I think it's great. No modifications other than the yarn weight. I don't think I have anything else to say about it. Oh, I guess a little something is that I went to a yarn store
Mm-hmm.
recently. I went to Avenue Yarns in Albany. I think I was telling you this.
Mm-hmm.
And I wore this and got so many compliments, which always feels nice. And they had one on display, so a sample
Oh,
one.
wow.
And then one of the people working there was in the middle of making one and she pulled
Oh,
hers out and showed it to me and it was just so beautiful and I was like it was kind of meant to be. It was just reconfirmation of just how beautiful of a knit it was and getting to see some other examples in person as well was really nice.
that's awesome.
Mm.
Yeah. Um, very, very cool. What was the woman who was making it? What yarn was she making it in?
This kind of segues into my next I don't know, I don't want to take up space, but she was using the yarn I used for my next project that I'm going to share with you all.
Oh, okay.
It's a DK weight yarn and it's really nice. So I'll share in a moment.
Okay. I'm wearing my Morginn cardigan. I had finished this right before I moved to Portland, and so I think it had been on the podcast in progress, but never finished. But I did post, I think, on the Knit State of Mind Instagram the finished
Mhm.
picture. But it's the Morginn cardigan by Katrin or Corinne Schneider. And it's like a half fisherman's rib, the whole thing. It was a little tedious to knit, but it is super comfy and cozy. It's Knitpicks Upcycle. And I do have to say that I've worn it 3 or 4 times and it's almost like outerwear because I'll wear it to work. And if I have to go outside to recess real quick or something, I don't even put my coat on because it's that warm.
Mhm.
But it has been pilling quite a lot or fuzzing. So I was
Hmm.
gonna I had enough of this yarn left to make maybe a second sweater, but I actually decided to make a scarf that I'll show in a little bit with it inside
Okay.
because it has been pilling quite a bit. But I'm gonna try and
Mm.
get out my D-pillar and maybe that'll help because it does
Yeah.
feel so good and it's so cozy.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I can imagine. It's beautiful. I loved it when you were making it. I got to touch it in person and feel the squishiness. So it's
Yeah.
good to know though that it pills some because I have some of that yarn and I'm doing a shawl with it, so that
Yeah.
probably makes sense
I
given
think
how
that
much
should
it.
be okay. And it's not knit at a super loose gauge, but it's not the tightest gauge either. But I was wondering, and this is like pure speculation, so I have no information about this, but I'm wondering if because it's upcycled, which is it's like yarn ends and leftovers, I wonder if maybe that means the fibers are a little shorter, so it's more apt to pill.
Mm.
But I have no idea about that. That's complete speculation. It's cozy and comfy, and that's all that matters.
It was this yarn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
I was trying to see if it says what it's made from.
I think it's like, I don't know, recycled wool of some kind, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's a combination, no?
Yeah. And I also finished, this is my only actually thing that I finished since last month, is these socks. This is the Felici color, um, dark side, and the heel is Felici in midnight. So those are done. These
Mm.
are a holiday gift for a family member. So
Sweet. Looks good. You can't go wrong.
can't go wrong. All right. What are you working on?
I have two more FOs.
Oh my gosh. Look at you.
Okay, so I'll share the one that uses the yarn that the person was using. So I'm going to show the yarn first. This is the color that I used um, for this project. And the yarn is Gilpin
I don't know.
Lalland DK.
Oh, I
Oh,
don't think I've ever
showing
heard
the
of
price there. It's a Scottish lamb's wool. DK weight, 190 yards to 50 grams. And this yarn feels delightful. It is so delicious. So it's DK, but I think it's something between a sport and a DK.
that. Yeah.
And this color is petrol, storm petrol.
Hmm.
So she used this for her, just this for her sheep's camp
Okay.
sweater. I held it with this,
Oh, nice.
the Berroco Aerial, which is 65% mohair and 35% silk.
Okay.
So I wasn't
Pretty color.
100% sure. I know knew I wanted something teal. There are so many beautiful teals out there. Like there's one I saw after I finished this, and I was like, that would have been delicious, but it is what it is. So I decided I wanted to. We spoke about this.
I've forgotten already.
I wanted to make a vest.
Oh, right. We did talk about. Yeah.
I should have buttoned it.
Oh my gosh, I love that. What pattern is that?
So I made a vest. This is oh, and it feels so good. It feels so
I
good.
bet. Yeah.
I want to put it on.
Yeah.
Is it gonna fit over this sweater? I don't think it's gonna fit over the
Maybe
sweater.
we'll see.
This is the Burgos sweater is designed by Rosa Pomar, and I
Okay.
think it's meant to use her yarn, Retrosaria Joao is Portuguese.
Mhm.
This is funny.
Yeah. No, but you can see at least the
Um,
shape of it a little bit.
but
Yeah.
what happened was I saw a vest in store that was V-neck and button up, and this doesn't quite look like that, but it was inspired by that.
Mhm.
And so, can you see? Oh
Oh
yeah.
yeah. I really am into, I mean, this sweater is the same. That V-neck fit where the V is like a little bit lower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm trying to button this over this sweater, but it looks like it's
Yeah.
gonna work.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll wear it
Oh yeah,
sometime with
that's so
it.
great. And you just like whipped that out in like 3 weeks.
I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. But my knitting game has been on point. But it's a vest. It's quick. I think I used two of these and a little bit
Mhm.
of this, and this is the second one of this.
Yeah.
So, what else should I say about it? It's what needle size did I use? I think it was sevens or
Mhm.
eights.
So it's not like a super tight gauge then.
I think it was sevens. Yeah, I mean it's DK with mohair.
Mhm.
So,
So it's like a worsted-ish gauge.
and
That's
so
gonna be so cozy.
I don't know if it's coming out true to color,
Yeah.
but I love it. And then the buttons were fun because Mark and I went to our reuse store, craft reuse store here in Berkeley.
Mhm.
Um, and it was so funny because there were another set of buttons, and it's just a bin of buttons. And I was like, oh, if only I can find three.
Right.
And then we found two more, so I had four of those, and then spotted this. And then I was like, oh man, am I going to be able to find
Are
another?
they leather? They are
I
leather or
decided I
silk?
really wanted these, and so we were fishing, 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 and then finally, it's like that precious moment where
Yeah.
you actually find a third one, the amount that you need. No, I think they're wooden.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just in a bin full of buttons. And she suggested this putting a button, sewing it down to a button
Oh,
in the
that's a good
back.
idea. Yeah.
Because apparently it protects the fabric.
Mhm.
So I did that with this as well.
I might try that on my next cardigan. That's a good idea.
And the construction, I love the construction. You start with the back, then you do the front, and then you join to work in the to work the front and back together and add the ribbing. I did 1 by 1 ribbing. The pattern calls for 2 by 2 ribbing, but
Mm. I like it with the 1 by 1.
yeah,
Yeah.
thanks. So that's the Burgos. I
Nice.
use
Awesome.
a Pomar.
It's good for your climate there too, right? It's like just a little something with a long sleeve t-shirt or a long sleeve
Mhm.
any kind of shirt, I
Mhm.
guess, underneath it. And you have one more FO too?
Oh, I have another FO. Am I just carrying on?
Yeah,
I,
carry on. Carry on.
okay. It's usually the other way around.
I know. I feel like I was getting ready actually today, thinking like, what have I done with my life this last month? I have like nothing to show for myself. But
Yeah.
it ebbs and flows.
You've been doing October and November at work, so
That's
um okay, so these are the Better Together mittens. So I've been saying for a while that I needed some mittens. I want to make fingerless mittens too.
Mhm.
And so I had this yarn left over, and I I decided to pick it up and just make some whip up some mittens. These are by Sofie. I think her last name is Hågensen. We'll put it down below.
We'll put it below.
Um, but I like my twisted rib. There's two pairs here. So it has the little
Okay.
angular
Classic.
twisted rib. And then the top of the mitten and the pattern is done differently, but I wanted this angular. It's more of a round where you just pull it
Mhm.
closed. You have the stitches
Mhm.
and you pull it closed. But I wanted an angular, so I just did like toe decreases and Kitchenered it, kind of similar for the thumbs. So these are super cozy.
Yeah. What do they look like on?
Oh, okay. I'm putting everything on. They're a little big, but
But
not.
it's okay for mittens to be big because that gives you. Oh yeah, those are great. Really need to make some mittens because it's really cold here in the mornings lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And we go out for walks or just randomly, and every time I've been like, oh, it'd be nice to have some mittens. And then we also eat out, so just when you're sitting
Yeah. When you're
outside.
outside, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Is that left over from Letho?
Oh, what is yes. Well, it's the base yarn is Knitpicks palette. It
Mhm.
was the contrast color in the mud cloth.
Okay. Hmm.
And I mean these are an exact match. And then the mohair is left over from Letho.
Yeah.
It's the Knitpicks mohair
Hmm.
as well.
Aloft. Yeah.
Aloft, there you go. I still have more. I was like, oh, I could make a headband, and Mark was like, you want to be that matchy?
Yeah. I do love that headband I made. I think I showed it on an episode I don't know, back in like March or something. I did make a headband with, it wasn't palette, but it was a similar type of wool and mohair, and it is quite cozy.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine. It seems perfect. So we'll see.
All right. Well, here's what I have been doing. So I actually have worked a lot on my Ola Yoke sweater by Ella Gordon. It just doesn't look that exciting because I did the sleeves.
Yay!
And now I'm working on the body because it's bottom up.
It's
So
bottom up.
yeah. So it's literally just been stockinette in this charcoal color around and around and around and around and around. And I'm a little bit, I mean, we talked last time about how I bought the kit several years ago and am worried that I don't have enough yarn for my current size, but I think it's going to be okay
Okay.
because I needed 4 balls for the sleeves and I have 12 balls, and they say that your sleeves are about a third of your sweater. So that's exactly a third.
Exactly.
And the sleeves fit pretty well up top. This part of the sleeve down here is like tighter than I would like it to be, but I'm hoping I can like aggressively that's I think just how the pattern is meant to be. I don't think that's because it's the wrong size.
Mm.
So anyway, so I did that, and hopefully next time I will be on the interesting part of the yoke.
You're almost to the fun part.
I am gonna
Um,
shorten it because it's designed to be like 18 inches from the armpit to the ribbing of the sweater, and I think, just like styles has changed and my taste has changed. So I think I'm going to make it more like 12 inches. So I have maybe like 5 more inches to knit before I join. So,
okay. Sounds good.
yes.
And this is reminding me about our informal knit along
Yes.
to follow up about that because when I posted, I did use a hashtag.
Oh,
But it's very informal. If you have Jamieson and Smith, or if you've been wanting to work with it, pull it out and knit along with us. I use the Jamieson and Smith MAL, Jamieson and Smith, hashtag Jamieson and Smith MAL on Instagram if you want to share there. Um, I think someone shared in the comments that they were making something. So if you just want to share with us what you're making, I have some left. So maybe some fingerless mittens.
Mhm.
I was looking at some. But yeah, just play along with us. And
Mhm.
um,
It would be good for colorwork mittens. You could try those wee mittens again. Did you ever finish your wee
I
mittens?
didn't finish those. I was considering them when I said, oh, I need mittens. And then I just wasn't compelled. And then there's some that uses Jamieson and Smith. I forget the name of it right now that I was looking at, but they're by Marceline. Hey, Brownberry designed a pair that uses Jamieson and Smith. We'll link that below if anyone
Yeah.
else is curious too. So.
Yeah. Um, so I have been making some Christmas socks. Um, this is actually leftover yarn from another pair of Christmas socks I made during our podcasting hiatus. I don't know where those are right now, but this is Post Yarn Company. The color is called Christmas Island, and
Hmm.
I am just doing like helical stripes with a neutral cream colored yarn. So I'm working on the second one. Uh,
Yeah.
I took this to knit night. I went to the knit night at Starlight Knitting Society for the first time last week, so that was really fun. And this is what I was working on because it's nice and easy to work on
Yeah. Yeah.
when you're out and about. Um,
So you said that was a good vibe, the
yeah,
knit night.
there was a lot of people there. I was actually surprised. I don't know why I was surprised, but I
How,
was.
how much is a lot?
I mean, I didn't count because I just sat down where I was sitting
But
and chatted there.
approximately,
But I mean, maybe like 30.
that's a lot.
Yeah,
That's a lot. I never expect that. I mean,
yeah,
I only have one experience with it, and it was like 5 people.
yeah, yeah.
So,
I guess I was maybe thinking because we're getting close to the holidays and people get busy and stuff. Maybe at this time of year there would be less people, but also it's winter time and people like to knit in the winter, right? So,
yeah.
anyway, so that was really fun. So I took those. The other updates I have. Let me just stay organized here. My zipper pullover. Is that what it's called?
Oh, yeah.
My zipper sweater by Petite Knit. I was hoping to have this done, but it's almost done except for two things that I'll tell you. But I did finish the body. Um, I have to pick up for the zipper facing and just knit like this little skinny strip for the zipper facing and then put in the zipper.
Mhm.
Like knitting back and forth on that little itty bitty 5 stitches just seemed tedious to me, so I never did it. But I need to do that because I want to be able to wear this because it's going to be so cozy.
It is, and it's a great color. Such
So
a
that's
great color.
an update on that one. And my new project that I'm very excited about. Actually, this was kind of funny because Wanda and I were texting recently about how I've been wanting. This is a pattern that I'm about to show you that came out in 2013, and I've had it in my queue probably since 2013. And we were texting about how I was going to finally make it because I had dug out the yarn and stuff. And then for a minute, I thought the pattern was like out of print and I couldn't get it. And I was like freaking out. Do you remember that? And I
Oh,
was like, wait, wait.
yeah.
Anyways, it's not, you can still buy it.
Yay.
So this is Buck
Oh.
by designer's name is not on here. T and Foley. And it was a classic elite yarn pattern. I think classic elite yarn has gone out of business, which is why I was like worried that the pattern wasn't available, but it still was as a PDF. So I'm making it more or less basically like this, but I'm using yarn I got at the recrafting company in Alameda. So it's like not quite the exact colors, but similar.
Mhm.
Just to have like a cozy cardigan, but I think I might do that trick with the buttons on this.
Oh, yeah.
So here's what I have so far. I did a gauge swatch, and then I'm starting with the sleeves. It is knit in pieces.
Okay.
I'm doing both the sleeves at the same time. So I'm just working
Two
on
at
the
a time.
increases. I mean, it does go pretty fast because it is,
Oh yeah.
it's like a bulky weight yarn, but I'm such a loosener. I'm only using a size 8 needle, but it goes
Hmm.
pretty fast.
Okay.
So,
Yeah. Is
yeah,
your goal to have it done by the holiday or?
I would like to. I mean, I think it's, it's like not like Christmassy, but it's festive,
Yeah, it's
you
festive.
wintry. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure there's a, oops, there is a, let's see if I can show this without showing the pattern. I didn't realize until I bought the pattern that the back has like a lice stitch or it's got little like color work dots on the back.
Oh,
I don't know if you can see that, but I don't know if I'm going to do that. I might just do it plain on the back because I didn't know that was there till I bought the pattern. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
yeah.
Um,
You see how
yeah,
you
and
feel.
then I have one new cast on in my temperature blanket.
Okay.
So should I show the new cast on and then we can move on into our crochet talk, or do you have any new cast ons to
I
show?
have a new cast on
Okay,
as
so that
well. Okay, so I'm not very far, but I was actually kind of inspired by you because I felt like I needed something vibrant. I've been knitting a lot of grays and blacks and browns, and I mean my favorite autumnal colors.
Mhm,
But your Lento last episode, it's
mhm.
like, oh, I need something vibrant. And I love bold and jewel tones, etc. So I decided to cast on something in this color.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a great color.
Um, I love this color. I love the green equivalent to this as well.
Mhm.
The bold greenish color. So my next bold one might be in that color. But this is I like the silhouette from the heirloom sweater, the heirloom jumper by
Mhm.
Fable Knitwear that I made. I don't know, I think it may
Yeah.
have been last year, but that has a lace pattern going down. And so I was looking on Ravelry for something similar, and then finally I was like, let me just make that without
Without the
the
lace.
lace. Yeah. So I casted that on. And the other thing is hers, the neck buttons in the back.
Mhm.
So what I did was I casted on the same number of stitches that the body starts at
Okay.
and just did that for a little mock neck
Mhm.
look with the twisted. And then she has the the way the sleeves work, and
Mhm.
probably when it's done you'll see it better, but I love the way that
Mhm.
and we talked about it before,
Yeah.
the way that sleeve
Yeah.
is
It's like a little bit of a pucker.
yeah, and it has the inseam that goes vertically
Mhm.
downward.
Mhm.
So yeah, so just beginning with this, I it's bringing me the most joy in the whole wide world right
Yeah.
now. I just love this color. My yarn is so they're not exactly the same color, but it works.
It works. It looks good together. Yeah.
It looks good together. So this is the blue yarn is Sansgarn the Sunday.
Mhm.
Um and it's one of the petite because Petite Knit did
Mhm.
special colors, so it's one of the Petite Knit colors. And then the mohair is Ficolana Tilia.
Mhm.
So
Nice.
really
I
going
think that without the mohair, that color would be a little bit flat or something. I think adding
yeah.
a slightly different shade makes it nice.
And then do you remember I texted you because I was considering doing the Jamieson and Smith
Mhm.
two ply because they have a really vibrant cobalt blue,
Mhm.
but I wanted to buy the yarn from the same place. So, and I'm moving towards, whenever I buy yarn now, I'm moving towards non superwash.
Mhm.
yarns, so I wanted something that was non-superwash as well. But
Hmm.
yeah.
Nice. I might now. I'm thinking about. I was just looking at a pattern. I forget what pattern, but that has a similar sleeve. But
Mhm.
maybe I might try look at the heirloom and see
Yeah.
about the lace. I hadn't really thought of that. Doing
Without the lace. I already had the pattern. I'm so excited about that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, I can't wait to see how it comes out. Um. Okay, so here's what I cast on. This was so we also I was like I have all these projects, none of them are finished. I feel like I'm not making any progress, and I was like, I'm not going to start anything. I'm just going to finish things until the end of the year, and then of course I started something like that day. Um, so this was again like I just got influenced by like something that's everywhere. This is the Sofie
Um,
scarf by Petite Knit, which is just like, and it's the leftover
it's
color,
it's
but
yeah.
it's like a great pattern. It's
It
not
is.
not quite a rectangle, and I think I'm gonna put little pom poms at the end. I
Yeah.
don't know if I saw that somewhere or if that was an original idea, but I'm gonna put some pom poms at the end. It's just a nice garter project.
Mhm.
Um, I'm knitting it on straight needles because I don't really love knitting back and forth on only a few stitches on circulars. So I just got
Mm.
out my trusty Clover size 7 needles,
I love it. I love it.
and I am like a third of the way through it, maybe. So
That color is so good. That's a
mhm.
really good color.
Yeah, I think it'll be really versatile for.
I
I
love
have
that
a
color.
kind of like a forest green coat that I think it'll look nice with.
Mhm.
Um, so, anyways, Sofie. No, the Sofie shawl. There, the scarf is the little itty bitty tiny one. The Sofie shawl is what this is, which is the bigger, longer, cozier one. So,
Got it.
that's what I'm doing with the leftover of my Knitpicks upcycle, and this color. I don't think this yarn is available anymore, but if you're looking for it, it's the color Rojo.
Yeah. I love that color.
Yeah, I really like it too.
Mm.
Um, and there's a lot of yardage on there. I mean, I had 10 balls, and I made, because I think I bought a whole bag. I made this whole cardigan, which is long. It goes like to my
Mhm.
thigh, and then I think I'm still gonna have more after I finish that scarf. So,
Mhm. Yeah.
um,
I've been working on I pulled the campfire cozy for my mom back out. So I've
mhm,
been working on that a little bit and getting reacquainted. I bring it up because it's
yeah,
using that
yeah,
yarn. That's why I
yeah,
had it handy. And
yeah,
every year I'm like, oh, I'm going to make it for her for Christmas. And so that's why I pulled it back out maybe a month ago or a
yeah.
few weeks ago. Um, and I don't think I'm making it for Christmas this year either because I'm prioritizing myself.
Me too. I was going through I keep all my like Christmas, because I knit socks throughout the year that I save up for Christmas, and I was going
Yeah.
the other day, and I was like, okay, I don't have anything for this person, this person. Well, too bad they're not getting a knitted kit.
Yeah, yeah. It is what it is. When they get something, they get something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's my temperature blanket, and well, I had a question, but I actually think I answered my own question when I was getting things out to get ready today. But let me see, stash some things. So I'm not going to stand up and show the whole thing today because I don't really have space. I had to move locations because my Christmas tree is sitting where I was recording from last time. But here's where we are. Last time we recorded was like a month ago, so I think I was down there. Um,
Hmm.
but this color, which is Knitpicks Eucalyptus, is this light green. It's a Knitpicks
Mm.
stroll in the color Eucalyptus tonal. Is the 40 high in the 40s color, and it's been in the 40s for a long time. Um, so anyway, that's coming along. At first, I really wasn't sure about this. This is Knitpicks Stroll Heather's Bamboo, and then this is the Eucalyptus. I wasn't sure about the two of them next to each other, but I actually like it. It's growing on me now.
Yeah.
Um, so my conundrum is I have only one color that I haven't added, which is for highs in the 30s or below, but it's like extremely rare here to have a high in the 20s. So it's only going to be like 5 or 6 days altogether.
Hmm.
So I'm just going to use the same color. So my original plan, because I used purple for days that are over 100 degrees, which is like the other extreme that we have here.
Hmm.
So my original plan was to use pink for the extreme, the low extreme,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it would be kind of like a. But then today it was snowing earlier, and I was looking out the window, and I was like, maybe I should be
Mm.
using like a white or a gray. Um, but then I got it out, and I was like, I feel like this just looks kind of drab. I think the pink is
I
better.
like the pink.
Okay, I was gonna ask for people to like vote or whatever. I was like, no, no voting. I
Y'all
already.
can still chime in, but
You can tell me I'm wrong, but I'm still gonna use the pink.
yeah.
Yeah. So actually today I think is the high. It's only like 35 degrees right now, and it's already whatever time it is. So I'm pretty sure the high is gonna be in the 30s. So that pink stripe is gonna come next.
Fun, 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 fun.
And this color is seashell tonal, Knitpicks Stroll seashell tonal. So
And these were all in your stash.
these were, yeah, this was in my, well, all of these colors were originally in my stash, like one
And
ball of them.
you
And then
had
I
to
had
get
to
more.
buy the volume that I needed for the,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
this, I actually originally had a different plan to use a Felici self-striping color for the
Hmm.
low extreme temperature. But then I just decided that would look weird because nothing else is like variegated or striped like that. And so I decided to use this tonal, which is a similar color to what that Felici was. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, it was already in my stash. And I'm only going to need not even half of this ball because it's, I think last year there were only 8 days that had a high that was lower than 40. So
Okay. Did you check?
I did. I went through the
Yeah.
whole preceding year of how many days were each temperature to so I could like estimate how much yarn I would need for each color.
Mm-hmm.
And then I
Mm-hmm.
just like over ordered by one ball just to make sure, and because not every year is the same. But so far so good. I did have to buy one extra ball of the 90-degree color because last year there were more days over 100, and this year
Mm.
those days were not over 100, they were in the 90s. But I actually didn't use it. I got to the very, very end of what I had, and it's not going to be 90 again before I'm done. So I could
Yeah.
have made it, but I was scared. So
Oh.
that I've been okay. But this brings us to
I
Granny
have
blanket talk.
I have lots of questions here. So bear with me because I've never made a granny stripe. Okay, context. I organized my yarn and knitting supplies like 2 days ago and was like, what am I going to do with my scraps from the fingering weight yarn in
Mhm.
particular? And so I texted Heather and I was like, I'm thinking of venturing into making a granny stripe blanket. And so then we had to pause and we were like, oh, we could save this for the podcast, basically. I'm really excited because also my eldest aunt used to always crochet granny stripe blankets, and she actually first taught me how to crochet. I never did it consistently. And so I just have memories of her always gifting those to people in the family, having a collection at her house. And so I'm looking forward to just sitting with that energy, like
Mhm.
her energy, and contemplating and remembering her in that way. But I'm also kind of like fingering weight blanket. This is a commitment, yeah.
Yeah.
You seem to be moving through your temperature blanket.
I mean, it does
Um,
take me between 30 and, sorry, I have something in my eye. I think it's some kind of fluff from something. It does take me between 30 and 45 minutes for a stripe, but mine is pretty wide. It's like I made it to be the width of my bed. So,
so though you just started answering some of my
yeah.
questions, right? How long does each stripe take you? How many chains did you cast on for that one, or just for reference?
This one, to be honest, I'm not sure. It might be on my Ravelry page. Here, let me look it up while you're talking.
or any of them. I was seeing, I guess I'm thinking about like 304 or maybe a little bit less. I
Mm-hmm.
don't quite need it to fit. I don't need it to fit my bed, but I want a cozy throw size.
Hmm. I did not write down how much I cast on for that one. Let's see. I didn't write it down, but honestly, I just because it's crochet, so I just did the chain and like laid it out.
Yeah, yeah,
Just yeah.
yeah. So, and then 30 to 40, you're using a size 3 millimeter?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I'm using a 3 millimeter hook because I went looking. I'm using it's like buried in. Oh, it's out in the other room actually. I'm using a 3 millimeter hook, and I think I went looking for a new one because I'm using a super super old Susan Bates hook that I think I got from my grandmother, and it's the metal is wearing off it or the
Hmm.
finish is wearing off it, and I went looking for another one, but it was hard to find. Like it was easier
Okay.
for me to find a 3.25 millimeter hook if I'm not mistaken,
Okay.
or maybe vice versa. But anyways, something around 3 millimeters is what I'm using.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay. What else did I want to know? Oh, you've made them before, right?
I haven't ever finished one, but I did
Oh.
the scrap one that I was making.
Okay, yeah, so you're making a scrappy one. Okay.
Um, and this has been, sorry for the rustling. This has been in a plastic bag since actually probably since before I moved because I just haven't worked on it for a long time. But
Oh yeah, I wanted to see where you were in it.
yeah, so I've got about 2 feet of it, maybe.
Okay.
So I know I showed this before on like
Yeah.
our whip parade because we always have to talk about how I don't like this green
That
stripe and I can't, but I'm not going back. Um, I have been pretty particular about like I do like a more neutral row and then a row that's a color, and I try to kind of balance out how the different colors are appearing in it. But one challenge I'm realizing with it, because I am making it with leftovers, and it's mostly like kind of like a solid tonal, and then the more colorful ones are mostly Felici or other self-striping stock leftovers. But like what I realize is kind of we all go through phases where like the colors you're using change.
mhm.
And then that's going to make it hard for the colors to be balanced in the blanket,
Mhm.
right? Because like this section of the blanket is going to be like, what are the colors I was using in 2019?
Mhm.
But then as I add, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the point. I guess I just need to be comfortable with the scrappiness truly being scrappy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm trying to mince because I looked through some and we talked about there's one, what is it, Attic 64 that a lot of people
Attic 24,
use.
yeah.
24. So I've looked through because there's like 8,000 or so. And so I'm trying to mentally prepare for just it being playful,
Yeah.
um, and not caring too much about how the colors coordinate. But the other thing is when I guess you have some leftovers where it's a lot more
Mhm.
than others. So then do you want to go through the trouble of using it multiple times or using it straight through? Um,
I've been using them multiple times. So like
okay,
this, I think comes back again up here.
okay.
Um, I've been doing 2 rows with with each yarn. So one row out and one
Mm,
row back. And if I run out partway through, let me find one where I ran out partway through. If I run out partway through, I just attach a yarn that's like kind of similar to finish out the row. I can't find a place right now where that happened, but that has definitely happened. So I'm trying to keep those 2 rows kind of consistent.
mhm.
Um,
And I saw that you had some, I'm wondering, I saw that you have some ends on there. Do you magic knot at all or
On this
I
one,
s-
I'm not magic knotting. I'm just going out and back and then leaving the end hanging. And because I've heard people say that magic knots can come undone sometimes. If I
okay,
in the middle of the row, if I'm adding it, I will magic knot it just because I don't want to deal with that end. And on my
okay.
temperature blanket, I leave ends on this side, but if I have to change colors on this side, I magic knot it. and I'm gonna put a edging around it to try to keep those magic knots from coming out.
Hmm.
Oh, here's a place actually right here where I added a new yarn with a magic knot because I ran out. But
Okay. So I was really excited the other day, and now I'm like, I don't know if I can commit to this.
but you know what? If you don't want it to be,
All the ends and
you could hold it double and do it a DK weight, which would be less of a time investment, right?
yeah,
Or
yeah,
hold it. I don't know if I've seen that on the granny stripe, but on the I've seen knitted blankets where it's like held double with a strand of mohair or a strand of like just like a neutral colored yarn.
yeah.
But I
I'm
don't know.
not gonna do mohair, but yeah,
I'm not as familiar with like how marling would look in crochet if you were holding two different yarns together, but I think it would look okay.
yeah. So I'll sit with it. The other day I was ready to jump in, and now
Yeah.
I'll sit with it.
But the other thing is you can just do what I did and do a little bit here and there, and then, 5 years later you'll have a third of a blanket.
Yeah, that's the other way I want to think of it. Like it can take years, and I'm
Yeah.
fine with that. Yeah. So
Um,
fun stuff. If you all have any granny stripe blanket adventures, advice, tips, please chime in the comments. Let us know. Let me know.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, the other thing that I have done is, well, the other thing this is interesting. So I used to, when I would knit socks, especially with the self striping, I would, see, it looks really pretty like this. I'll just fold it up.
it does.
Um, what I used to do always is I would knit, if I was knitting like with Felici, let's say, I would knit a sock from each ball, and then I would have like, 15, maybe 20 grams of yarn left over, and I would,
Mm,
or more, and I would never do anything with it. I was like, okay, I've now made something with that, and I would put it in this bin that I have that's all the scrap yarn that I've then been pulling from to make this. But
hmm
I'm not generating as many scraps lately because now that I know how to do afterthought heels,
mm.
I
You're
typically, like,
using.
if I'm making a sock for somebody with smaller feet, I actually just use one ball and I completely use it up. So I just don't have as many
Got it.
scraps like that. So I need to maybe start
hmm
going back to the other way so that I'll have more scraps that I can use for my blanket.
Yeah. That's the other thing. I don't have a ton of scraps actually.
The other thing you could
Yeah.
do is do get one neutral color and do like a few stripes of the neutral and then one scrap stripe and then a few more stripes of the
Yeah.
neutral. That could be good.
Yeah. We'll see. Because
Mhm.
I also have a significant amount of the contrast color fingering weight left from the shifty.
Mhm.
So I was thinking about, and then the other color I'm making some socks with, but there's going to be leftover from that. And
Mhm.
then the same brand, I have another pair of socks that I haven't picked up in ages, but there'll be some left from that. So if I wanted to put that towards the granny stripe, I could, and
Yeah.
that's a significant amount of yardage. And from what I was seeing, people are using like 1,000 plus yards. Wait, yards or grams? Grams, about a
Grams
thousand
probably
grams.
because crochet uses a lot of
A
yarn.
lot, yeah.
Like I had
Grams.
when I first started this, I realized I didn't have enough like brighter. I needed more like oranges and brighter colors. And so
Mhm.
I bought some minis, which I do very rarely because I always have leftovers. But so like I bought this and I bought this, I think. Um,
Mhm.
and this is 20 gram mini gave me like 1 2/3, or sorry, it gave me like 3 stripes. So 1 2 3, and then I had to attach something else to come back.
Mm.
So this is probably like 12 grams just in these two stripes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good reference,
Yeah.
actually. Yeah.
Um, but it really is like just the texture of it. It's just like
Yeah.
it's not too heavy. with fingering weight. It's just a really
Mhm.
nice
Yeah.
blanket weight.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thanks for sharing, and we'll see.
I say try it. Go for it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no harm in trying, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Might get my hook today. We'll
All
see.
right. Any other
Oh,
plans?
whew, I didn't come prepared, but I'm in that mood to knit all of the things. There I want to do a headband. I want to do the fingerless mitts. I'm contemplating that one pattern I mentioned. Um, I want to make another cardigan
Mm-hmm.
as well. And I'm thinking we talked about
Mm-hmm.
this, a brioche one, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the pattern on the top of my head right now. But
Yeah.
oh, I want to make I want something in black and white, like a black and cream.
Uh-huh.
And I have a crap load of that Cloudborne,
Mm-hmm.
like 3 skeins of black and three. That's like 12. That's like 1,200, 1,500 yards of each color. And so I was like, do I want to make a half and half wrap? Is there
Mm-hmm.
something else? But these aren't real plans. These are contemplations of all the things I want to make.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, and I want to use my yellow Tweety yarn that
Mhm.
I with the mohair. I want to use that up soon, and I'm thinking of using a repeat pattern for that as well.
Yeah. I know. I was actually just thinking the other day, like, I think I used to say that I didn't knit stuff twice, but there's so many things that I've knit twice. And once you find something that you like,
Hmm.
especially if it's a garment or something you're going to wear, it's like, why
Yeah,
not just make it? Just like you did with the heirloom. Like, why am I looking for a different pattern
yeah,
when I could just make the same thing?
exactly. And with that yarn, I've been like, browsing and waiting for the perfect pattern to come along, and there's already a pattern that I have that I think would be perfect for that yarn too. So we'll see. What
Yeah.
about you?
I have been part of the reason I want to finish all this stuff up is I've really been dreaming of like everything with mohair, like sweaters with mohair. I think I mean
Yeah.
I'm also just thinking differently about sweaters now that I live in a colder climate,
Hmm.
right? It's like I just saw one on Instagram today that hasn't come out yet. It was like on the designer's page that's like a big oversized kind of tunic with like a split in the side from the It's on
Hmm.
Instagram, and I was like, oh, I need to make that when it comes out and I have the right yarn for it.
Hmm.
Yeah, and I want to make another cardigan. I have the yarn for um, the field day sweater,
Hmm.
which is a cardigan. Um, yeah, but I'm feeling like I have too many garments that are not finished, so finish those, and then I'll feel like
Yeah.
a bit more.
It's always this balance,
Yeah,
right? Like casting on something new, finishing existing whips, and
yeah,
push and the pull. Yeah.
right, yeah. So anyway,
Yeah. But
well,
you get to make and enjoy some heavier weight garments now. So
mhm,
that's exciting.
mhm.
Yeah.
That's why I think I've been wanting all the like fingering and mohair stuff because
Mhm.
like the thing I wear the most, I wear this a lot, and I wear my gold cardigan that is
Mhm.
like the gold fingering weight mohair all the
Yep.
time, because those are like the right weight for what I need right now in the
Mhm.
winter, right? I mean, in the spring and autumn, I don't need that heavy of a,
Mhm.
but yeah, so I've been very inspired by all the cozy sweaters, but
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm,
so to come in 2023.
2023. All right.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Like we said at the beginning, we will put all the links in the show notes below, and please give us a comment or like our video if you enjoyed watching. And we will be back sometime maybe right before or after the new year. Who knows?
Yeah, because it was about a month this
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, all right.
All right. Bye.
Bye.